On May 7, 2025, a significant event will unfold within the hallowed walls of the Vatican. Following the death of Pope Francis on April 21, the Roman Catholic Church, comprising over 1.4 billion faithful worldwide, embarks on the sacred journey to elect its 267th pope. The interregnum, known as seat vacant or the seat being vacant, begins immediately after the Pope's death.
Roman Catholic cardinals who are under the age of 80 elect the new Pope from among their own numbers, okay? In order to get into a conclave, you have to be a cardinal. In order to get into a conclave, you have to be under 80 years old. And from one of those people inside that room in the Sistine Chapel, they will elect the Pope with a 2/3 majority. Sede vacante means empty seat. The sede vacante is the period between the death of one Pope and the election of another. Right now, there is no Pope. So the seat of St. Peter's, as it is called, or the see of St. Peter's, but usually the seat of St. Peter's, is empty. No one is sitting on the throne. What happens inside is that each of the cardinals writes on a slip of paper which says in Latin something along the lines, "I choose as Pope so-and-so." They write it down in their own handwriting, and they are encouraged to masquerade their handwriting. Then these votes are counted, and if there are enough, a new Pope has been elected. If there are not enough, they go to another vote.
During this time, the College of Cardinals assumes limited governance of the Church, ensuring continuity until a new Pope is elected. In the days leading up to the conclave, all cardinals, including those over 80 who are ineligible to vote, participate in general congregations. These meetings serve to discuss the state of the Church, the challenges it faces, and the qualities desired in the next pontiff. The term conclave derives from the Latin cum clave, meaning with a key, highlighting the seclusion of the cardinals during the election process. On the morning of May 7, the cardinal electors, those under the age of 80, attend a special mass, invoking the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Later that day, they process into the Sistine Chapel, renowned for Michelangelo's stunning frescoes. As the doors close behind them, the master of papal liturgical celebrations declares, "Extra omnes." Everyone out, signaling the start of the conclave. To maintain the sanctity and confidentiality of the proceedings, the cardinals are cut off from the outside world. Electronic devices are prohibited, and the Sistine Chapel is swept for bugs and secured to prevent any form of communication. The cardinal electors reside in the Domus Sancti Marthi, a Vatican guest house, and are transported to the chapel for each voting session.
So when the cardinals have reached the decision, the cardinal who has been elected says, "Yes, I accept my election as Pope, as successor of St. Peter." The ballots on which the cardinals have written the name of the new Pope, or the names of all the people that they have elected, are burned after each vote. Then it's added with an additive, a chemical additive. They're put into a stove. A chemical additive is added, so it would be black for "we have not elected a Pope," white, "we have elected a Pope." Years ago, they used to put some wet straw in the stove when they burned the ballots, but that didn't always work, and usually the smoke was gray, so nobody really knew anything. They started adding the chemical additives a few conclaves ago. He goes in to a room which is on the side of the Sistine Chapel. It's a very, very small room, which has come to be known as the room of tears. La stanza delle lacrime, which is Italian for the room of tears, because of the emotional impact of having just been elected. That is what it's called. In that room are 3 white cassocks, papal robes, in 3 different sizes, essentially, to be very simple, small, medium, and large. So whoever gets elected can put on one of these. It may not fit perfectly, it might be too big, too small, too short, whatever, but at least it's white, and that person will don those clothes and then will walk from the Sistine Chapel around the Vatican into St. Peter's Basilica, into St. Peter's Basilica, behind the central lodge, and then will come out of the balcony windows after a cardinal announces to the crowd, Habemus Papam. Says, I have news of great joy in Latin. Habemus Papam.
The election requires a 2/3 majority. On the first afternoon, a single vote is cast. Subsequently, up to 4 ballots occur each day, 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. After each vote, the ballots are burned in a stove installed in the chapel. Chemicals are added to produce smoke. Black indicates no decision, white signals that a new pope has been chosen. Historically, the length of conclaves has varied. The longest, in the 13th century, lasted nearly 3 years, prompting reforms to expedite the process. In recent times, conclaves have been significantly shorter. For instance, the 2013 conclave that elected Pope Francis concluded in just 2 days. Given the current consensus among the cardinals, experts anticipate a swift decision in this conclave as well. Once a candidate receives the requisite majority, he is asked if he accepts the papacy. Upon acceptance, he chooses a papal name, dons the white cassock prepared in various sizes, and is introduced to the world. The senior cardinal deacon announces from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, Habemus Papam. We have a pope. The election of a new pope is a profound moment for the Catholic Church, blending centuries-old traditions with the pressing needs of the modern world. As the cardinals gather in solemn deliberation, the faithful await the emergence of a new spiritual leader to guide the Church into its next chapter.
It's difficult to say who's going to be elected pope. There's a number of people who have emerged as favorites, more in the press than anywhere else. One is Cardinal Pietro Parolin, who is the Vatican Secretary of State. He's a very well-known entity. He's known by many people around the world, and he has no pastoral experience, but he has a lot of administration experience. One of the other contenders is Cardinal Tagle of the Philippines, who is his personality is more like that of John Paul II or Francis, more of a kind of a spunky personality. He's a very lively person. He would be the first pope from what is now considered Asia. It is almost impossible that a new pope will be chosen on the first day, the first ballot on the first afternoon. What normally happens is that a lot of names are thrown out just to cast out there, just to sort of, say, as a sign of respect to people. Everybody knows that they're not going to be chosen as pope. So the real voting begins the next day, on the second day.